Ghana appears to be making some gains in its fight against malaria, as the number of cases has been on a steady decline in the last 2 years. Now, 2014, for instance, recorded 8.4 million cases compared to the 10 million recorded in 2013. Officials say the number of deaths due to malaria has also reduced.
Malaria is a major public health concern globally. It is estimated to kill about 630,000 people globally every year. In Ghana, the disease accounts for 40% of outpatient cases and nearly 30% of patients on admission at the country's health facilities. Briefing the press ahead of the commemoration of World Malaria Day, the National Malaria Control Program said it distributed 12.5 million nets nationwide between 2010 and 2012 as part of efforts to reduce malaria. Another 2.8 million nets are expected to be distributed from next month in the Western and Bonahafo regions. Deputy Director General of the Ghana Health Service, Dr. Gloria Kwanzaa-Asare, spoke about gains made in managing the disease.
2014, we realized a good drop in the malaria cases that come to our facilities. It dropped from 8.4 million cases a year in 2014. This is a decline over 11.4 cases in 2013, which we had in 2013. And also the case fatality, that's the number of people who would die from malaria, has also declined. It means that we have also improved in our management and also in the recognition of malaria and early treatment.
James Frimpong of the National Malaria Control Program told Joy News although some gains have been made in reducing malaria-related infant and maternal mortality, malaria among pregnant women remains a challenge.
If a pregnant woman dies and care is not taken, somebody might think the person died of malaria. The mere fact that that pregnant woman might have reported with malaria may not necessarily be the reason why the person died. That person might have died of other complications. But with the children under 5, it is easier to measure, because when they go on admission for severe malaria, they know that these are here for severe malaria. And then they do all they can to salvage or save the child. So you can measure the progress you are making in children. The pregnant women, we cannot be categorical in measuring the impact, even though the impact is great, because the effect in them could be on the fetus. It could also be on the mother herself. And that is where it becomes a bit more tricky in talking about pregnant women's death and malaria. But we've made progress in all those aspects.
The 2015 World Malaria Day will be commemorated in the Western Regional Capital, Takoradi, on Saturday, April 25.
The acting CEO of the Mental Health Authority says Ghanaians should demand to know the mental health status of their leaders. Dr. Kwesi believes the sound-mindedness of leadership translates into the general well-being of the country. He was speaking to Joy News on the sidelines of the launch of the first anniversary of the Mental Health Authority.
Being of sound mind is the constitutional requirement for any person seeking public office in Ghana. Nonetheless, it is unclear how this has been checked, especially of our public officers over the years. On the back of this mandatory requirement, Acting Chief Executive Officer of the Mental Health Authority is urging Ghanaians to request to know the mental health status of their leaders. Dr. Kwesi believes public officers' mental status determines Ghana's development pace.
And indeed, we should get there. For instance, if the Constitution says that a person of sound mind is only a person of sound mind, frankly, before anybody contests any public office, we should ensure that he's really of sound mind. How do you ensure that? Go through psychiatric screening. Go through psychiatric screening. Because, frankly, some of the policies we get coming out of our policymakers, and you wonder, are these policymakers people of sound mind who could have given us such policies? These are real issues. You look at some laws, you look at some agreements, international agreements that we put our heads as a nation, trap ourselves, and you wonder, just for the is it just because you want money that will come to you, or there's something more? Maybe something's not up right here then. These are real issues, and one of these is we need to bring it up very strongly.
The mental health bill was passed a year ago to enhance mental health care delivery. A year down the lane, the authority still has financial challenges that threaten to thwart its efforts, in spite of assistance from the Department for International Development.
We don't have money on our own, and we are using DFID funding. DFID funding has limitations, and that is one such limitation, that we cannot use their money to train personnel outside. But in service, I mean, like training within workshops or in-service training, that can be done. So as we work towards getting our own fund established, then we'll be able to use that to train both within and outside, any caliber of personnel that we want. So that will be there. But for now that we don't have our own fund, we are limited. But that's why we are quickly working towards getting the fund established. We are launching it on Saturday and hopefully.
1 of every 5 Ghanaians is said to suffer from one mental illness or the other, including depression and schizophrenia, though a 2009 report suggests 700,000 Ghanaians suffer severe forms of mental illness. For the 700,000 Ghanaians who need mental health care, there exists only 14 psychiatrists to cater for their needs across the country, making it a ratio of 1 to 50,000. For Joy News, Kemini Nyamani Amano.
So I think I need to ask this question. What mental disorder are you suffering? Well, anyway, in a related development, the Executive Secretary of the Mental Health Society says not only leaders need mental health screening, but everyone needs some psychiatric evaluation at least once a year. He explained that the country's current economic situation is likely to affect individuals' mental health unknowingly. He further explained that more and more Ghanaians are suffering from depression, stress, and other mental health conditions and need urgent psychiatric attention.
There has been a situation in Ghana here where a leader of a political party has won a political feud with slippers to go and take their certificate from the Electoral Commission. I mean, this person is somebody who is yearning to become a leader of this country. But if you look at the dressing at the time that he went for this certificate from the Electoral Commission, it should tell you that there's something wrong. We can't wear a suit and wear slippers, and especially go into public domain to take a certificate in that kind of outfit. Definitely there should be something wrong. So for me, I think that it's perfect to know that people should, especially our leaders, if everybody who wants to stand for a flag bearership or wants to stand for any leadership position is asked to subject himself to the psychiatric evaluation, the better it is for us all, because one way or the other, people are suffering from mental disorders they don't know. And let's not forget that the WHO has also said that 1 out of every 5 people in Ghana are suffering or will suffer some mental health condition in their lifetime.
Now, police and military personnel have been deployed to restore peace at Sankore in the Sunafu North District of the Bunahafu region. This was after a clash between supporters of the New Patriotic Party and the National Democratic Congress in the town on Monday, April 20. Now, the supporters of the two rival political parties are said to have attacked each other with offensive instruments. Bunahafu Regional Police Commander DCOP Maxwell Atingani spoke to us on the AM show earlier, denied reports that it was a political clash.
We are yet to establish whether it is involving two parties. We are seeing human beings who went to the place and then attacked someone called Pamukosu to inflict cutlass wounds on him. And these people, their names are Kofi Ponsa, Waku Richard, now say Azuma, and then Figo. So when we had that information that they had gone to town to cause mess there, we rushed there with 45 policemen and 10 soldiers. So when they got wind of it, they dashed into the bush. At the moment, they are domiciled in the bush, and we are there. We are looking for them seriously. I say that we are investigating. We don't want to eat back our word. We want to investigate and know the facts properly before we can come out and say it is NDC or MPP. We don't want to rush and then later on kick back and west, which will not be good for us. The town is booming. Everything is going on very well. They are assisting us to trace those boys. The town is okay. Everything is going on all right. Nobody has fled the town. Those who have fled the town are those people who went and misbehaved there.
Well, multimedia journalist Hubert Ankama, who's been following the incident, joins us with some detail. Hubert, is it true that these clashes are actually politically motivated?
As of now, the police has not briefed the media about the whole thing.
So the police have not said anything about what has happened. Have they confirmed or denied?
No. The whole thing happened on the Monday. There's one guy called US Power who was threat. So he just went on board to mobilize his people at the principal street of Sankore.
So, yes, I'm listening, Hubert.
Yeah, principal street of Sankore. So they just caught up this guy who called Kwame Fusu, popularly known as Kwame Macho. So he was beat up and wounded. They rushed him very quickly to Goso Hospital.
So, as of now, what is the current situation in the area?
I can tell that now the place is calm as taking place at the Sankore right now, so speaking, and the police too is on the place, making sure that everything will be ended in peace as I'm speaking to you.
Has there been any word or any comment from the leadership, the constituency's leadership of either the NPP or NDC on this particular matter?
As of now, nobody has just come on board to say anything like that sort. So the ACP Patrick Sapon, who is the Deputy Police Commander of Brahafo, has given assurance that the investigation is ongoing. So whatever will come on board, they will let the media know the whole thing.
Hubert, thank you very much for your time on Joy News Desk this morning. Hubert Ankama is our colleague. He's a multimedia journalist. He's been following this particular story. We're taking a quick break here. We'll be back with some more news. Stay on.